Ba ba da, ba-do-do, ba ba da ba. Hey, guys, welcome to the era. Welcome to the Psy Tai Podcast, number 118. 118. I'm happy and excited to be here. Let's cue this intro. Hey, like I said, thank you for coming by. Just tainow show, where we just tainow, combine our mind with our heart, see what our gut mind is saying, connect all those three circles. Magical presto, let whatever come out. Come on out. Just think about it. But also, is a feeling and a gut. Y'all know what it's about. So I'm just let this go. Let the room fill up a bit. Before we go live, let people find the time to find the stream. And we have a good time. About the nature itself. Discord will be open. As usual, if y'all want to jump in and tie alongside with me, talk, however you put tie together. The rare moments in history right now. And then, there we go. Turn it up for y'all a bit. As long as y'all can still hear my voice. I'm not. There we go. We came a long way. We came a long way. Do this shit every day. Just stop. I be thinking out of mind. They looking at me. Is this boy out of his mind? Man, I'm outside of time. Man, I'm surprised I can rhyme on any of these beats. Man, I ain't sitting on my feet. Man, I'm. Who sits on it? I just playing. Still sharing this around. And it's better let people so that we can actually tie along. I don't got to start everything all over. Alright, where's the... Hopefully y'all day been going alright. Exactly how you expected it to go. Or unexpected. Gonna show y'all stuff we never seen. Right on time, right on time. Alright. I'll just be right now. But hey, I've been having a wonderful nope. I've been having a wonderful time Wonderful day today so far. I was at the skate park, and I took a fall as soon as I got there, but I was able to get a couple tricks in. But it was crazy because they actually painted over all of the graffiti that was in the. So the whole vibe, the whole atmosphere, the whole of that is totally different because art is the environment. Art give us symbols and environments, and ways, the portals to go into the mind and experience things and emotions. Especially while you flowing on the skateboard going over, it was hard to guess where how tall objects were and stuff like that because the landmarks kind of going. But I still had fun. Got a couple clips in stock and all that stuff. That. But yeah, I titled this "The Nature Itself." In that video yesterday, I went live. I was at the park. It was all cool, so I apologize for the video actually not being like how I thought it was going to be. Like that, it was only a tiny square out of the big box. And shout out to King Guys for pointing it out. And I saw it pop up, but I didn't want to click on the Discord and actually shoot out the video. So I just kept it. I just kept it going. But I'm gonna take that audio and flip it up into something that'll be worthwhile for anybody that still wants to hear what was going on that day. Gonna be a little tripped up because it's not gonna be dark. Oh yeah, it's gonna live up to your expectations. And so yeah, nature itself when it magic mushrooms, psychedelics, being with yourself alone in a room for more than 5 minutes. Most have was last time you been in a room by yourself for 5 minutes without like it being because of a job or something like that. So you still had so remember you could be alone at a job and still got responsibility I do, but really just alone by yourself where you just there. 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It changed your life. It changed my life. A lot of things. And by change it, I mean reveal a lot that's going on about the nature itself. What's going on with you? I like how it was for real. What's going on with you? And what's going on mean it can broadens out into so many different fractalized realities and fractalized concepts. Because what's going on will surprise you. What's going on surprises me as I'm still walking, um, breathing, using the body, and what's going on is a big thing. And we build up stuff to have stuff going on with us. Go to amusement parks, dress up and stuff like that. This is what I've got going on. Like we try to get stuff going on. This is what I got going, and that's part of the picture. just die, just die, just die. I just up here tying it on out. Nature itself, because it's always leading us, like I said, into places where we're not expecting on the journey. But when you're on that journey, you'll see that the path, it may seem like a roadblock is not the path that you would take, but that roadblock is all part of the one great path. It's great path where it's going to be the roadblock. Some people going to sit at that roadblock for millennia. And some people going to say, oh, that's a roadblock. Some people going to study the roadblock to see how to build other roadblocks and stuff like that. But we keep on going and manifesting things along the way. I was going to bring up yesterday. I don't know if y'all watch True Show, but check it out, the Psychedelic Podcast. I was on there, and Exile and some other cat was talking about I think that was no, it wasn't cat, something else. He was they was talking about something. I was going to chime in about Conway's Game of Life, but I didn't. And but it was going on what they was tying on about the fractalized reality and choice matter and it being an infinite amount of choices. Like Exile was saying, an example right now, it's a reality where I sit here and wet my pants. It's a reality right here where wave me waving my right hand. But it's reality where I'm waving my left hand. The reality where I'm waving this fingers like this, and then so many infinite amount of different realities going on. But it all comes from a choice. It all comes from a state, and those different states is going to go in. And I was going to bring up Conway's Game of Life. If y'all never heard of that, Conway's. Wait, let me do this first. bring it over there. Conway game of life, just so y'all can have a representation. Conway's game of life. This was created by a figure. This was created by a mathematician. Oh, hey, hey. Where you start with an initial state, and depending on what's around the object, it will either replicate itself or destroy itself. So it creates you start, you can draw any pattern you want, and then it will start branching off. It will branch off and keep on creating patterns depending on how it moves. Let me see if it's a video to actually show y'all how it moves. That would be pretty. Stick with me. Come on. Got this. There we go. I can show you how it moves. But yep. So you start off, and then they bounce off, and they either going to live forever or they're going to interact with each other and start generating different things, different I think on spaceships, and it's different. It's so different. It's called life for a reason. It's called life for a reason. And then you get more complicated patterns, and you can't predict with any kind of algorithm what's going to happen. I mean, any pattern that's going to say, hey, chose this pattern, I put this algorithm on it, I know that it's going to create this massive environment later. It's no way, no way. And this is part of how computers was invented too, with this Conway's game of life and Turing computer. I remember running across this stuff about 6 years. I had it on one of my iPhones, and I was so curious about it because I just wanted to create life in the world and see how it went. Like, how did they do that? But yeah, that's how the pictures move and everything. It's real interesting, and it's so interesting that people been diving into that subject, and like I said, creating the technology that we have now around those concepts, and how it went to the fourth reality. You give it initial concept, then it goes out and does what it do, and you can start different initial reactions, and that's how life is going to play out. And then depending on the interactions of all those random objects, seemingly random objects, is how it plays out. And then another reality, it started with a different initial reaction. The scientists be saying this too, in their language, in their folklore, as everything is folklore. Is that the multiverse, and the that it was multiple. Some science say it was multiple big bangs, and not just one big bang. And the multiple big bangs started the multiverse, but which is still just the universe, because it's still just one big verse that you're able to travel. But the way that they, you know how scientists said the folklore, way they encounter it, grew up in it, said, "Oh, this is all that there ever was." In the reality, now looking back at growing out of it, looking into, oh, now there's multiverses. When I think that's what's out there. It's always the multiverse. It's always multiple dimensions, always around us. I brought this up in a very early Just Tie Now episode. A very early Just Tie Now episode, when back in the day, and I was shouting out that old scientist that was talking about the holographic universe. But then growing more in this path, and tagging along whoever like vibe with it, you know how things set you up for your own understanding of things, but for a broader understanding that most sometimes other people know exactly what you mean, or have an experience that they able to tie into your experience, and the words that come out of your mouth, the linguistics that are used for it are very similar, very similar. And keen on being a similar, like the same experience, really, just from a different perspective. And that's what I was getting into. Like, I grew up with math. I loved math growing up. And I was watching this video and was talking about and join the Discord, guys. Like, if y'all not part of Discord and y'all watch the Psy Tai Podcast, you missing out because we could be having a lot of dope conversations all day on the Discord, as well as sharing videos all day about like what you find that motivated you or some information that you found and probably don't want to put in your own words, but you just want to share it and stuff like that. Just the sharing of things is what I'm talking is what's awesome and fantastic for us to have the capability of doing. So let's take advantage of that. Let's take advantage of that. Hey Velvet. Hey, there we go. Hey Velvet. Rising Grand. The rising is very grand. Let's put it like that. Yeah, the rising is very. I hope the rising is grand for you, Velvet. But as I was just tying on the nature of self and just getting into the nitty gritty of the now, of all things, like always. And just I was just encouraging people to get on the Discord and share information because I was sharing these videos yesterday on math. And I grew up really. I never really lost it. I got really intrigued about math and mathematical statements and what they mean spiritually, what they could mean spiritually or esoterically, and not just the exoteric information that we use it for to like walk and like build buildings and stuff. But like, what does it mean to have a negative number or to divide a negative, to find the square root of a negative number and then start having imaginary numbers or complex numbers and theoretical physics and stuff like that, as opposed to just like experimental physics. But what's in the mind? How? What is this doing? Like, what is this math about? How is it speaking? How is it speaking to me? And I'm seeing that it speaks to me in the ways that it's been speaking to a lot of for me a lot of people on Earth, because that's what math is. It all Terrence shouts to Terrence McKenna that brought up to me that was saying how math was inspired by an angel and then it developed into all these other uses and stuff and shied away from the angelic inspiration. Like inspiration is just saying, hey, get it from looking at what other people's postulates and explanations, how they prove their theorems and stuff like that. But it's a lot of math here, and that's why I posted in Discord. It was an awesome 30-minute YouTube video. Somebody that was breaking down that the hole in math that I was experiencing that at some point was having me shy away from math in its use and saying it was all just Looney Tunes and stuff like that, which it still is. But but it was showing how even in complicated like I would say complicated calculus. You know, I like how to put jokes on stuff just so I have a basic understanding of things. Calculus and stuff like that. That and in physics and theoretical physics, particle physics and stuff like that, the math don't always show. They're not always able to prove their own math. Like they'll come up with a theorem and not be able to prove it, but they know that it works and they feel that it works. And that's what I was showing about the Conway's game of life and how it led to the development of the Turing machine, which took an output and then an input and then did an output based on what the input was. So that's how we built binary computers in the beginning and stuff like that. Which we still have binary computers right now, but now we moving on to quantum computers. So we in a whole we stepping up as human beings. To yeah, with quantum computations and being able to compute that level. Compute words. But yeah. So it led to all of those awesome things, but it has contradictions within itself that divides the math community. And then there's some people saying, well, my intuition says that math doesn't make sense. And then there's other people that you would call like the hippies of mathematics, and they like, well, my imagination still makes this works. Like not just my intuition, which the scientists intuition is like based off of if it's a wall right there and you're walking, once you reach the wall your momentum will drain because the because the mass of the wall will stop you, like. But the other people say, well, what if it's math that allows you to walk through the wall? And it's like, nah. So with that dividing line, it was really the hippie scientists that really, when the certain formulas put out there, that allowed us to have computers. Because if we went the other way, it wouldn't have been possible. Like it was a guy, and one of his things that turned the community over was he said, without saying it in the math way, the metaphor he said was, imagine it was a town who had a strange law for beards, like beards on your face. And one of those laws was that if you did not shave your own beard, then you had to go to a barber. And the barber only cuts people's beards who don't cut their own beard. So then this question was, who cuts the barber's beard if he only cuts people's beards who don't cut other beards? How does he? So the only way he will be able to get his beard cut is by not cutting it. And I did not mess that up. That's exactly how it was put forward. And when this was put out in the psyche of people, it made people say, what are you talking about? This doesn't make sense. And this divided the community once again. But it was some people that sit with these concepts on their mind. And when we enter the Psy Tai universe, if y'all didn't know, Psy stands for psychedelic and Tai, where we just combine our mind with our heart, so your gut mind saying, let it ever come out, come out. The Psy Tai, the psychedelic, the Psy Tai. It was going to be the Psy Tai Delic podcast. I just turned it like the Psy Tai podcast, like the psychedelic Tai podcast. Yeah, just a little history. But I just felt this all interested on how math, wherever you look, whatever profession you in, always points to the mystery beyond the mystery that a lot of people spend their whole life searching for it. Or some people say don't even exist because they turned into an atheist, stuff like that. And their mind is structured on the rigid 3D reality of things, which is still cool because you're playing a game. Still feeling, still acting. Just think a little different. But in my story, when it comes to knowing who you are and working with that, working with that on a different level after experiencing psychedelics, it's amazing, amazing. That's all. That's what I gotta say about that. That's not the pointer right now, so I'm not gonna allow my mind to drift. And remember, I said to the copy this. The Discord is open. Because it was another cool mathematical concept that was pointed out to me about the nature of the speed of light. Like the nature of the speed of light in physics is c, and it was averaging like 300,000 kilometers per second square, or like 299 sun square meters per second square. But if you paid attention in physics class or and studied this kind of stuff, notice that when they was um measuring the speed of light, it was always from a two-way receiver. It wasn't never just like you shoot the light down a tunnel and then the thing at the end that says, oh, it took this amount of here to here. And all of our studies, and all of the scientist studies and stuff is from it when it bounce off of one thing, then goes back to the timer. because of relativity and how we calculate relativity and stuff like that. Like if something is moving faster, then time is moving slower. So how can two clocks be completely synchronized? And that was the problem. How can you get two clocks synchronized and then be able to still measure this the light? And it was all these different ways that they were going down. But the main point of that was that think Ty on this. Is the speed of light the same? And I gotta take away this. I can't see how many people in a room and stuff like that. But yeah, but it ain't gonna mess with my psyche. It's so good. Oh, anymore. Being honest, just being honest. But just Ty, man. Just is the speed of light the same in every direction? Is the speed of light the same in every direction? Like the same as it go left, as it goes right, as it go up, as it goes down, as it go on the z axis, go negative z axis, z axis. What is it? What is going on? And there's no way for us to actually accurately measure that with the instruments that we have so far, and it has never been. It has never been. And even Einstein, it's a conjection as a convection. Let me get it right. Let me get it right. I think it's uh convection. Nope. I guess I can't. Yeah, I mean conjunction. No, that's not the word that I or but it's a word that they was using that Einstein even put in papers when he was talking about special relativity and general relativity, that it was only we all agree. If we all agree, then this is the speed of light. Because if we agree on the two-way travel measure of the speed of light, then then it's just all agreed. Then that is true. And I wish I could show the equations for y'all, but I don't have them on deck. I don't have them on. I don't want to spend too much time. Up. Wait, let me see. Let me see. Einstein equation. No, I don't want the MC squared. It's another one. Ah, yeah, yeah. I can't find it right now. But his measurement for the speed of light was only because of it bouncing off of something and then bouncing back into the thing that it was sent from, so that the timer can be synchronized to itself, so that so that they can know that it was on point. But what if it took one, like I'm exaggerating just so I can say normal terms, like terms we can understand better. What if it took, like they measured and said, oh, it took 2 seconds. It took no, let's do. It took 10 seconds for it to go from the top to the bottom. Or the example they use, say you send in a signal to Mars, and it takes 5 minutes to send the signal to Mars, and then they receive the signal, and then it takes 5 minutes for it to be back. So for that signal to travel, it took 10. They say it took 10 minutes if we believe what the speed of light is. But but what if it only took 10 minutes for the signal to get to Mars, and then it simultaneously was received back on Earth in no time? It would be no way for us to measure that, to know if that was happening or not, through the way that scientists and everything than just saying this is how light works, or this is the light. So if any of y'all got any information on that or some tie bits on that, let me know. I like to talk to somebody about that. It was real. Hold on one second. When I was running across it, and I got a lot of ideas about that stuff because there's how things travel through space, how things travel through time, how we, how we perceive reality. We already know it's an illusion, but what type of illusion? What kind of illusion inside the illusion? What kind of illusion can we become so much aware of that we're able to work with it and then exist on a whole nother plane instead of just saying, hey, we'll never know anything and we're just always going to be guessing about every single thing. But yet we see as we build airplanes, we build houses, we build computers, we build a lot of stuff with the information and ideas and skills that we come across and breed and pass along with each other. So it's something to work with, something to work with, something to kind of realizing your own journeys too. And psychedelic, yeah. So plastic bottle, but yeah, yeah. How things are perceived are is not how you think at all. And science is going to prove to everybody that be saying that people don't know what they're talking about, or that try to just put it up to one certain sector religion. And even the sciences of religion. So that's just one other way of just me expressing what I experience, and just another way that we all can just see how we can express ourselves. We're here. Math ain't here for no reason. Math ain't here for no reason. We all love to count. It's fun to count. We even made a song to make it easy. Wasn't that important? And in the big scheme of things, if you're on the Psy Tai Podcast, it is not important. It is not important, but it's the tools that we working with the canvas that we have. That is life. We got math. And the more I'm getting with it, and the more I'm getting with this light and concepts, even working with the concepts of light, the more I'm getting with these concepts, the more it's opening up doors of information and experiences in my life. Even with just having more fun. Because now the way I'm having more fun, my senses are opened up to the world that's around me in ways that I can just be sitting and be sitting in a place and be experiencing more than somebody that's dancing the ass off, trying to get up and getting, you know what I mean, trying to reach up in this. But then when I do dance as well, it's even more. It's just so in tune. It's so much of the world around us that our senses are, once you polish them up a bit, start seeing what it is, and whatever it is for your skill set that you choose to polish up, or based off of your genetics and stuff, what's going on with you, how you gonna be experiencing X Men like straight up. And what I mean by that is the variety of what's actually experienced and manifested in the DNA with the individual. Got fire, got ice, got fly, got um telep- telepathy. And different ways of working with people. Yes, you can. Yeah, guys. Not still on dad dues, as King God's be saying, or put that terminology out there. Got the daddy dues. But I enjoy it all. I enjoy it all because everything is the mystical experience. Don't gotta go searching so far. Don't gotta feel like you gotta kill yourself or anything. I feel as though I just gotta feel as though I'm living. Feel as though I'm able to breathe. And not even breathing. That's yeah, breathing. I'm always um yeah. I was thinking about the art video that I put out there yesterday. If y'all didn't check that out, nice if y'all can see that because it's the first of many to come. This is the groundwork, the ground path. I've been working with the art, and it's what I want to do now, as well as Ty and have the channel has been going on. But ever since I've been with the channel, it started this. I've been having the art projects uploaded constantly. Art or like even if it was what painting. I make house the yeah, I mentioned I always used to edit that was 2018. 2018, 2021. But the green. Oh wait, I gotta. It just still look cool like this. Turned it up. Like that. But I love that phenomenon. Painting and skating it upside down is something else, but it seemed like it was supposed to be. I love looking at artists that do that intentional. And they turn it upside down, and it's a cool face and environment that you wasn't even visualizing looking at it the way you was looking at it. Then let me flip your perspective. Then it's like it's all psychedelic. Mind manifest. Close the door myself. Hey, whoever's there, what do if it's something you ever want to tie on and got questions or any comments, let me know. Type away, type away. Shout outs to Exile. Shout outs to Exile 13. Y'all heard him on here on the Psy Tai Podcast more than a few times. More than a few times. You'll catch him. The Psychedelic Rapture Podcast made this. I mean, I got my pyramid. Got my organ. Oh, it's a lot of green in here, so. Or I could do this for y'all real quick. I could show y'all a good one. Filter. Woo! There it goes. Beautiful artwork. It even has prosthetic mushroom all purpose. Oh, the light bulb in the back. Yeah, I'm connected. I've been keeping top of my computer. Right now, I had it right here so I could show y'all for. There we go. Heck with that. I'll let y'all. I was bringing up. Yeah, I brought up in the Discord. I was talking about Tomorrowland because in Psychedelic Rapture they was talking about technology and how As well as with the astro, like I go into the astro plane and see things. Or I call it the tie zone. I go into the tie zone and see things. And for other people call it the astro world or however you term it. I like when people come up with they got your own terms for the astro world. Let me know. Don't give me hyperspace and something. I mean like original. Let me know. But when I go there, I was there with my daughter before, and I was dancing with her above the earth, and I was like we having so much fun. And now she's in dance classes, take dance, and she really enjoys it. Really, and she like even at home and stuff, dancing, singing, real musical genius. So that's what I manifested. I mean, I manifested, and that's what I visualized. Because like I was making up, I just wanted to see my daughter, and it felt a happy vibe, and that's just the dance vibes, and I just you go with it. Go, it's the astro world. It's life. So we was talking about technology and these predicting technologies where like you could take a picture and they show how your baby would look. And Esco was saying how it looks similar to his baby. Him and his girlfriend did it. And I was saying like people how they look when they old. I said, be careful. I said that's why people be saying I don't claim this energy. Stuff like that. But just predicting things. And I know somebody else who drew their baby and the kind of looks just like their kid as they got a little older, as before he was born. So I think technology, no different, no different. That's probably less accurate, way less accurate, or is creating another reality that is accurate in just time. Everything plays out. Energy can't be destroyed. It transitions to another form. If it is destroyed, where did it go? But then just die. Take it. Just die. I was saying it can just go to the no. To the no. It's somewhere. It's always some place. As much as we can think, everything that can think is a place. As much as all our human concepts, all these words and imagination that I'm talking about, and the lucid dream that we're living in and experiencing right now, knock on you. Let me out. Let me out. I'm trapped in your computer. But I was just taking the Rick and Morty dance. Let me out. Let me out. This is not a dance. I'm begging for help. Begging for help. When he was trapped inside the little Rick body, and then he wanted to be older Rick again with his other thoughts and be able to do. He had to make a pop song in order to out his real feelings. Vexation is over. Ah, I'm getting back in the key. Finding the octave that I was in on the piano. That I was even relaxed. And relax for me just means inspiration. It means I'm able, my mind is able to zone out, and not zone out, but zone in, tune in to what's going on with me, like the nature itself, like I mentioned before, because I'm a multi-dimensional being coming here as Santai. You a multi-dimensional being coming here as whoever you are. And I'm just that's how I see myself. That's how I see myself right now. So my mind, when I'm relaxed, I'm in other worlds. I'm like that. I literally see and participate in it. Sometimes I only see them for a second. Sometimes I'm feeling it, and then I want to create an art piece to bring it here. Like put it in the art of translation, and that's how real and exciting it is with the psychedelics because I was bringing up yesterday that art was taken out of school for me, as I thought it was just forms of art, but art in the form that I'm down, like art, paint, taken taken for out of taken out of my life because I went to have art class all throughout high school. So it was just like, oh well, that's not something I want to do. And then consequently, life started taking other terms and having different personalities because that's what our mind does. Do it's what we do. It's no just I. It's we, and we is able to do so many things, able to adapt the situations in order to so-called survive. So-called survive. And that's why they say most people don't understand um minorities, how they can grow up to be impoverished. I mean, in poverty, or grow up to not have the same ideas that other people that grew up in environments. Because all it takes is an idea. An idea will up and make you do that didn't even that you imagine. Just like the Conway's Game of Life, like I was saying. Now it's a new like initial start, a new start, and now it's branch off and how now it goes with the interacting with else in its environment. Like shout outs to this, I brought this up in the last podcast with Charles McPike. About synectic pruning and how synectic pruning is a medical thing, medical terminology about how synapses in your brain literally stop talking, communicating with each other. Let me show this be something so I don't have to rush through it. Natalia, no rush. I want to art. The synaptic pruning is the natural process. The entire process of, oh yeah, I never heard of this. Ringer, psychopathy, child behavior development. Not a lot. Did it for y'all. Synaptic pruning. Synaptic pruning refers to the process by which extra neurons and synaptic connections are eliminated in order to of neurotransmission. Beginning in the earliest embryonic stage and lasting until approximately 2 years of age, new neurons and synapses are formed at times reach 40,000 new synapses formed per second. By the end of this process, individuals are left with far more neurons and synapses than are functionally and or preferred. I say that this is dependent on your environment. This is dependent on environment, diet, and in some culture, they actually how those. And I'm gonna tie that in later and why that makes sense with neuroplasticity and how it makes parts of the brain. Synaptic pruning is the process by which active synapses are eliminated, therefore thereby increasing the efficiency of the neural network. Because it gotta survive. You can't be thinking too hard all day. One guy, you gotta flow. Your body is gonna flow. You are always flowing the way that you are flowing. I never not with a flow. The entire process continues up until approximately years of age, by which time nearly 50% of the synapses present years of age have been eaten. The pattern and timeline follows various based on varieties based on brain processing the efficient neurological in this way synapse. Oh, this just I gotta log in and rest. And if y'all doctor, like if y'all doctor or anything, I'm willing to have a doctor, nurse, anybody come on here, talk medical talk. Some words on here that want to be broken down even more to make sense. Let's tie on all together, make it an individual episode. I'll make sure I'm hearing enough to tie alongside with you, and give insights and just do. I don't have anything else to read the rest of that. I want to see if it's more information. Right side negative proof that the purpose structure of the need for complex structures become much more prominent. Simpler association formed at childhood are thought to be replaced by complex structure from Wikipedia. uh, okay. As the need to understand more complex structures, they replaced by yeah, yeah, yeah. The wiki. Here go neurotransmitter, transporter. Here goes receptor, synaptic vessel goes out, boom, boom. Then 50% of that stuff that was here go to neuro out of there, and it carries the. Alright, that's as much as I can. But you see how they said 50% of what you build up stops at the age of 10 in most people. Like it's right. That's wow. And most people say we trying to connect with our childhoods. There's some people that fully remember their childhood and look what they doing with their life. 900%. I'm not saying everything is black and white. I'm just putting these things for you to just tie on. Just tie on and create an imagination about. And then come see how you work with it. Let me know. Let's see what they say in scientific. Why is synaptic developing brain? Brain strategy nervous system over neurons, axon, the access. In fact, these overproduction those that only about half of the neurons million involved in. Yeah. So that's just like what think about what kids can do, how fast they learn, how fast they get over situations. How people say you got to treat the kids right because that's how they're gonna be for the rest of their life. Like just being that open in the mind and the brain and how what it the senses that it's open to, and then tie it in with psychedelics and deep meditation and finding yourself different ways and that having a neurological effect. Why I brought up the psychedelics is because on the wait, I'm gonna show. Oh wait, let's see what they say. Let's stay on track. I saw something. For decades, neurologists believed that neuro after birth, but in this when they discovered it using electron microscopy, the brain So these changes at the synaptic level causes neuro reconstructing. I know I'm saying not trying to RAL. Reconstructing that very likely was very. It was something I just. Oh, in addition, many major illnesses start to emerge in adolescence, which may be caused by adherent synaptic ab- aberrance, departing from the accepted standard, aversion. So they're saying mental illness start to emerge in adolescence, which may be caused by aberrant synaptic. So synaptic pruning that's not from the normal type. So not everything went away. So they say, no, and you know what we think of mental illness is something totally otherworldly. And and being open to things that people don't explain, and they put titles on it like uh, schizophrenic, and it's ADHD, and those terms like that. And you'll see a big artist do all these awesome things, and then later be like, oh well, yeah, I think probably am kind of that. But then look what they was able to do because they was working with themselves and had the ability. The people that believed in them worked with them, stuff like that. We all need to do that with each other. In 1982, I hypothesized that disorder synaptic improvement could explain the age of onset of schizophrenia. I didn't even read the sentence, and it's right there. And in 2006, researchers published genetic and experimental evidence supporting this association in Nature. Although we are only beginning to unravel the ramifications of synaptic pruning in the human brain, this process clearly has for normal human brain function may provide key insights into causes of some devastating, mysterious neuropsychiatric disease. Yeah, yeah, cause psychiatry, neurology that deals with mental. So y'all see what's going on there, and they talking about people that have abnormal synaptic pruning and don't follow the quote unquote. It literally don't follow the status quo. Start to develop what psychiatrists call mental illnesses. But just tie this together with the psychedelic experience where people say they experience things like probably like hearing voice, seeing things in like seeing things before they face that other people can see, hearing voices, having grand illusions about life, about how they're the center stage of life and stuff like that. And that's what I like about the psychedelic experience and tying along other side of people too, because some people have one trip and then think it's all about them forever. Like that's the total grandioso story of everything. You got the point. It goes so much deeper into the connection and the vibes and one and all is one. So and it goes wild. It goes to a lot of different places. But what I was tying on with the neuropsychology and synaptis and going on different brains, I took that path. And because my grandpa, he was my mom's dad. He was what people turn schizophrenic, and he came up with stories. He would say like he had babies by other celebrities, whole nother type level. I only met him like a couple times, but he was on that type time, and then and I think a lot everybody really is on levels, on a lot of levels. It's just some more than most, or on a different type times than other people. So with this going on, like say, all got to do with the brain. And then you start going to the songs, say, "Oh, it's nothing wrong with me," and then people saying there's stuff wrong with you. And then she said, well, I still feel like me because you still we. Like I said, we always going to adapt to what's going on. Ain't going, ain't going to burn up in the flames or drown in the water or bring the water in the fire and swim with it like it's nothing. Like it's supposed to happen. But let me show y'all psychedelics brain. Like this all correlates along with we went over this a bunch of times in old Psy Tai Podcast. I just gotta go through the archive. All of these pictures is bringing up memories. Shout out to everybody that was there in the chat back in the day, watching and flying along, giving information. Good days are always going out. But yeah, this is a picture of the brain on LSD. I was communicating with it like it never does on the with the placebo, which is just the baseline. Baseline. Look at this one, the sober brain, tripper brain. And these were taken on the MRIs, and this is how they represent it graphically. How psychedelic drugs produce their conscious altering effects. That the more people that so-called don't have mental illnesses, when they experience, they're gonna be like, oh, this is just a conscious altering effect. It's not a mental illness. We were wrong. And then they're gonna say, you find out that it was people just trying to make a lot of money off of prescription drugs, as well as using people that have a very gifted skill in chemistry, having them think that doing they're on the best path that's available to all of humankind at presented moment. If they knew about this, who knows what they would have did? Especially if somebody was giving them way to pay for their family. Yeah, new way of looking at the brain activity may give insight into how psychedelic drugs produce. Yep. In recent years, a focus on brain structures have given way to an emphasis on neurological networks, how cells and regions interact with consciousness, shaped not by any set of brain regions, but by their interplay. So instead of saying, oh, you got your visual cortex, you got your neocortex, you got the two hemispheres, and they all doing what they do at the time that they need. Some get more lit up at times. It's never fully down. It's never fully down. You always, but it's just working at different levels. Like if I'm focusing on letters or something like that, you'll see different parts of the brain flash up as the way with the instrument they have to measure their brain currently available. But with the psychedelic, when you want the psychedelic, it's just interacting for the sake of interacting with each other. Like, why do we need a reason, neocortex? Let's just talk. Let's just tie it on out and just see what's going on. Understanding networks no easy task, and researchers are developing ever more sophisticated ways of categorizing them. One such approach describing in a new proceeding of the Royal Society Interface Study involves not simply networks, but networks of networks. That sounds like mushroom talk right there. Perhaps some aspects of consciousness arise from these meta networks. This is them thinking about objects create conscious, or is a. I think everything is conscious, and things create conscious. So it's both. Came first, chicken or egg? But who threw the rock, or did the rock choose to throw it, to move it to another spot, because it wanted to hit the sun differently. Perhaps some aspects of and to investigate the position, the researchers analyzed fMRI scans of 15 people after being injected with psilocybin, active ingredient in magic mushrooms, and compared them to scans of their brain activity after receiving a placebo. Investigating psychedelia wasn't the direct purpose of the experiment. Said study co-author Genovia Petrie said they didn't care about the spiritual stuff, the stuff that they was actually feeling and stuff. They just cared about what's going on in your brain. We can measure with our instruments. Rather, psilocybin makes for an ideal test system. It's a surefire way of altering consciousness. You are going to see something. You are going to experience something. A lot of people come with spiritual, walk your head off for days and days and days. Oh yeah, this is what reality is, and this and this. But mushrooms, they have you see yourself. Psychedelia is the world of seeing yourself. Representation that circle depicts relationships between networks, and the dots and colors correspond not to brain regions, but to especially connection-rich networks, which normal brains at left and psilocybin and brains at right. Normal brains have a well-ordered correlation state. Like I said, that reason got it ordered. Is that the Masons got you structured. Them Masons got you structured up. Them Jews got you structured up. The Jewish mysticism and the way that it plays out in everybody's minds. Rather, they off of a divination. What is that word? Like when it's not the main religion, but you make it a little different. I made that a little different, and made that a little different, and made that a little different. it's, it's ordered. All right, these are not much cross link. Where we go? Oh, my bad. Up. Although we, although we are only beginning to unravel the ramifications. No, no. What? A well-ordered correlate. There is not much cross link. Not much cross link. That changes after the psilocybin dose. Suddenly, the networks are cross linking like crazy, but not in random ways. New types of order merge. And then we'd be like, oh, I could do this now. Oh, man, I always knew I can do this. It didn't create. Or, oh, I'm experiencing this. I'm experiencing this. Look at that picture. Beautiful. Art piece right now. We can speculate on the implications of such organizations. Researchers who were led by neurobiologists, because they didn't care about the psychedelia part. First was actually, we can speculate forever. And the thing that the scientists be so right about is that we can speculate forever. We can speculate on and on. Oh man, everything ties together. That's why I don't be mad at nobody, really. I just want to see what you got going on. That's true was saying too. Um, wrote the researchers who were led by, yep, one possibility byproduct of this greater communication across the whole brain is the phenomena of sinus, the experience common during psychedelic experience, sensory in colors, feeling sounds, so on. That's a daily experience for me now, especially since the mushrooms unlock this, and then with integration is you confirming those paths, setting it in stone. Like you ever do something and then don't hit save, and you put hours and work into that. I have. And then something go corrupt, something shake up real quick, and you ain't hit save, ain't really created like you thought you did, and then it just still there. You just gotta do it again. Won't come out a different way, but it's you still put the process and the effort, and that's what I be. That's why I pat myself on the back for like, the effort. I'm just doing it. I had fun doing it the first time. I'm gonna have fun doing it the second time. The only upset part was right in that little in between. Only part in between. All right. Oh, hold on. Hey, bro, man. Yeah, that's strange when you look back in life and realize how much your way of thinking changed over the years, especially after Sykes. Yep, start going through lifetimes. You can be processing stuff for a minute, a good minute, and then take the psychedelic, and it's like, oh, to the I have access to the computer at school that don't run that run way faster than my computer at home. Now when I run this program, I'm be able to spit out this video in like 5 minutes. it'd be like it'd be like that. Or in spiritual terms, it'd be like going through that whole lifetime. And in some cases going through the lifetime so much for that character in and come back as another character with whatever that character learned. And then you still learning what, but it's like you learned whatever that other experience was a million times in psychedelic experience. It's like you go through it through a million, like a million simulations, and it all play out in all these different ways, and then you observing how it's going on. And like not the youth here, but you know what I mean. I ain't gonna get lost in terms right now because it's all we, but we, but you observing what's going on, and then you can see what happens with this when this happens. A couple 100,000 times. What happens when this happens a couple 100,000 times, and then still forget most of that. But you get the big picture, and most big pictures lead us in good ways. When we get the little small pictures, that's just. But it is a hologram, and it is the same big picture. Remember what I brought up in the beginning? The fact, the things that I be bringing up that seem paradoxical, is how computers with the Turing machine, Conway's Game of Life, and the that spot that was divided, saying, "Hey, that's crazy." And other people saying, "Hmm." But said, "Hmm," is why we got the technology. Hey, bro, man, you said for sure. And once you see that computers exist, you can't unsee it, but you can see everyone else blindness. Real. Oh, thanks for coming by, bro, man. I appreciate it. Good time. But I was on about the psychedelics, and let's do that. Do a little flip. That makes say Petrie notes that the description of is still a simple abstraction with the analysis mapped on circular scaffold. A truer way of visualizing it that would be in three, which with connections backwards, sponge like to topography. That level of interpretation is still beyond the researchers' mathematical says. They hope to refine their future research and track network fluctuate over a longer and with different bugs, man. The big question in neuroscience is where consciousness comes from. As for now, he said, see, I brought that up. I said my foresight is on fleek. I said they still debating on where consciousness come from. Consciousness come when you create something, and then it has enough developmental access to be aware of the environment around itself and respond accordingly to the external stimuli, poke it or observe it or something like that. Or is everything consciousness pops up? Stuff like that. I'm like, why not both? Why not both? But yeah, mushrooms in the brain. mushrooms and how we see brain so far. And all of this on the bigger scope of things, 'cause I know a lot of people that's here actually do psychedelics and stuff like that. This is me just showing myself what's going on on a grander scale. What's going on to, but not even what's going on, just a story for us to pass along and experience this moment in time. In this moment in time, us to say, oh, maybe I did hear about that before. Something like that. Because when you really start studying the brain and esoteric books, and not even esoteric books, your esoteric self, you'll start just experiencing all these things that people that's in the mainstream put out there and then say, well, we're still not so sure about this. And it's like, if you just take this with those thoughts, you will be like, man, I still gotta probably play the front of we don't know. They probably still would. They probably still would because we still don't know. But I think it would. I think it would just be cool. It'll be funny. It'll be real funny to experience that, and interested in adults of what kind of technology and math they come up with after that experience, so that they don't try to spend so much time trying to prove to themselves that the theorem that they working on is actually worth working on, that they're not just wasting their time. That's why I usually take the ones that go way out of their so-called mind to come up with the ideas. Like Einstein, when he was coming up with the special theory of relativity in general, wasn't working in no university and stuff like that. He was working at a patent office, looking out the window, and he said he got his best ideas when and he would hold something that when he off and he would wake up and have that idea on his mind, so he write it down. So it is we all the information always come from beyond, always come from the characters on that type time that's willing to really work with what they love. When you work with what you love, you work with the love. That love is something right, something that you fall in love with, or atmospheric, like a yeah, it's atmospheric, it's an atmosphere. Yeah, yeah. It's a rebuild broken. I'm not broken. Yeah, yeah. I think that the ways that make us happy and that train one. This is gonna make a how we going into our minds, neurochemistry minds, and people saying that people out of their minds and experience it and getting studies and stuff. That I'm trying to see what I was tying on, but I think I was tying on math or yeah, just I got. It's true, bro, man. What you say? It's true. What we see what true. What we see when we goes into them place that language that speaks to us is definitely not English. It's like our brains, yeah, Mandela QR codes. It definitely it is like a QR code. I love the way you put that. A QR code. You scan it, it's gonna take you somewhere. Ah, lovely thought. A lovely thought to say. It just seemed like random pattern. That's why even on this so-called base level, you can draw mandalas, or you buy one of those coloring books and take your time and reach the same space. Reach a similar reflection of that space of that space I'm talking about, where the mandalas take psychedelic space, where your mind is at, fired worlds. People see other worlds more than they think. They just don't believe it because they're saying it's what I imagine, just thought. But that's it. That's always it. That's always it. And that's why you got a lot of people now talking about lucid dreaming, things like that, and experience wanting to experience and saying that this life is a world, living with that reality, saying it's anxiety, saying, "Hey, that's what it is. Now, what we're gonna do while we here? Let's build while we here. While we create." But yeah, um, but I'm just tying in my mind now how chemical, how humans always been getting finding something to get high off of, finding something to interact with their neurochemistry so that they can experience something that they don't experience in a normal everyday waking life, but that they experience it was there either told through a storytelling, through this like the story awoken something in them or woken a whisper. I'm even thinking back when it was just a bunch of Aboriginal tribes everywhere and like the drumming, and you eat spicy stuff, or they have mushrooms and all over the world, mushrooms and other psychedelic Syrian Rusi. Trying to think of the common ones that my mom. I think that's about it. If you know, or type it. Look, oh, Sam. Oh, but it's a bunch of plants and that people, in order to have a certain state of consciousness. Even when people say, um, eating meat, even in today's term, I'll say eating meat. And how they say get you all rowdied up and stuff like that. Or people say, oh, you're a meathead. And how that terminology came to show people that's like about themselves and stuff like that. And how people make fun of vegans and vegetarians and be like, you don't got enough in you and things like that. You too soft. But I think it's all with our neurochemistry, all with our neurochemistry, and the belief that we put into it. The belief is strong, stronger than mug. But I'm just tying on, just tying, cause just tie, just. So with our foods and psychedelics and experimenting with our consciousness and what we experience, people come back and tell stories and be like, "Oh man, I experienced this," and then people even at lower doses and how it made them think about the world that they was in. Big factor, how they understand the world that they were in. Yeah, psychs take you from 3.5D. It feels like the fourth dimension talk to you. It is. The fourth dimension trying to talk to you. Different time from different places. Get in touch with your inner me, I would say. Yeah, I said. Oh, let me. Yeah, but I end the story about this story about psychedelics and how people always been experimenting with their consciousness, telling people stories, and some people hold certain plants, their herbs, and keep them a secret from other people, and keeping ideas free secret from other people, and then using them over top of the other people because they see in the reality that they in a different way. The people that's around them, they are seeing. They able and choose manipulate the people in a way that create the societies that we see now and the society that we're going to see next and after that and after that. So it's always been a way. It's always been ways of seeing for yourself. So and everything about people getting mad and we ain't mad and you just hurting yourself and you don't really know what you're getting into. Well, this is a big picture now of what we've been getting in. So with that, I'm gonna tie you on out of here. And this been a wonderful time. I'm gonna get to work on some awesome art. But I feel it's very fantastic. Here goes a hat I've been wearing the whole time, just clear. But I can actually show y'all because I always be like, "Oh, the green screen, putting it up." But now that I know that I can, uh, they'll be up on the Thai website. But it's a mushroom. And as well, two things. So I'm just showing a little bit of it. Uh, but is the way that it is. I to just all the art I made up myself. Like I just made a universe real quick that I'm able to actually show some other people on Earth. Created a dimension. Feels feels good because I connect. How did that just happen? Hold on. What? My bad. There we go. And it be feeling good because I connect. I travel while I'm creating. As if while I'm creating, now I'm starting to get tones where I can see what I want to create before it's done. Like I still sketch things out and add stuff when it's done here. I kind of see the thing that I want to draw. Kind of, yeah. It's a whole different pattern because I still like to sketch, and that's how I started and everything. I'll just draw a line and then connect the line in here and just see. I'll come up with things. But down my mind is like seeing things too. And it's like, all right, now go try your do your best. Go do your best. If I can show y'all one thing, I did say I was leaving, but I had a mushroom journey, and I said that I was going to show y'all how. In the Discord, I told the people that I was going to draw how my face looked when it was in the mirror. So now I got it so that I can show y'all that. I know it's in Google Drive where my face was changing like a filter. And at the show y'all a preview. Like this one, I didn't upload this. This was something that I made, like a draft of it. To all y'all that are here at the end of the video, thank y'all. This special treat. I created that when I was in VR, so I was my arms. This is from yesterday. That's another. I don't think I made it. Yes, I did. One I was looking for. I never released this one. I really love this. uh, here, but since it's on Google Earth, Google Drive still, and I'm like, that's not the highest quality, right? There he goes. That's a lot better. My Google Drive folder. Yeah, this picture is actually created from. It was created from this. And then I warped it all up. This was another draft of it. I just kept on editing. But the one that I'm looking for, I have not seen. Yeah, there go. That's the first copy of it. My face and my eyes were literally color. But yeah, it's not on here. Yeah, it'll be in the Discord. It'll be on justtainow.com. Alright, guys. Adios. We all tie. Do we really tie? Sometimes I don't know, dudes. Sometimes I really don't know. It's all good.